Hey, it's W5HRO. Well, it's been a couple of weeks. You might remember I did that last video and I uploaded it like around 2 weeks ago. And I said I was going to disconnect the center tap from the transformers, blah, 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 blah. You know, trying to see where the 120 hertz was coming from. And I determined it's coming from the center tap being grounded of the 6.3 volt filament winding. And it was the transformers, the coupling transformers. So I've had to make another revision. I've had all the parts. I've been busy. My mother's been here. She's going back to Tulsa tomorrow, so she's been visiting. She's like 91 years old. My dad died here just a few months ago, so she came to visit and made it easier on us, and she can still get around. She doesn't need a cane or anything, so she's in good health. So anyway, so I got busy with her and cleaning the house, helping the XYO do that about a week before she came. So that's why there's a delay on this. But unfortunately, I had to make another major revision, and it's eliminating the two transformers. What was happening was when I could see. I pulled all the tubes out, and like on the 6 and 7, on the each of the grid pins with the tube removed, when that center tap of the 6.3 volt was winding, I was seeing, you know, a few millivolts, but it's 60 hertz on each side of the winding to ground. But when the thing's powered up with the tubes in, it gets amplified, and I'm seeing that 120 hertz. Now, what I've had to do is I've had to go back and do the old RC coupled way. See what I've done? Essentially, this is almost the same setup as I had with my 6A3s. Now, of course, I've got the 6AS7, and I still have the 6SJ7 and the 6N7, but what I've done is I've put the 6SK7 in the middle, so I'm hooking it all up the same way with a minor change. And the minor change is right in here, and it's better than what it used to be. And this is the problem I'm working on now. This thing's working, there's the output. If I get peak to peak from here, this line up here to this line down there, it's 300 volts. And if I turn up the audio input from the generator, I can get it, but I can get 300 volts, but see what's happening? I can get this one to come down, this one's squaring off. And that's the problem with doing this RC coupling. Let me turn it down again. What's happening is, see that they're here on the scope. I'm looking at the grids of the 6N7 tube. I'm looking right here. Channel A, the yellow trace is here on the input, and this one here, channel B, is on the or channel 2 is on the other input side on the it's coming off ground here through this 27K resistor through this cap. Now I don't have a 2 mic cap. That's probably going to improve things. I've got a 0.1. I ordered a 2.2 mics, what I've done. But let me show you what happens. The blue trace is looking right here at pin 5 that's coming up off of here. And look at what happens when I turn up the input level. See what pin 1 on the other side's doing, the input side. See the yellow trace here on this, the input on this side. See, it's going all the way like it's supposed to. But look what happens to the blue trace on the other side coming across that capacitor from ground. So what I'm going to have to do is, I think this 6AS7 will handle like a meg to ground on each one of these grids. So I'm just going to put a 470 here to where I've got the same. I'm going to have a 470 and a 470 here. And I think that may take care of 470K. So I'm going to try changing these two to 470s and see what happens. But I've been working on this thing here in the past. What I did was, it's Tuesday, what is it? It's June 13th or 14th or 15th. Oh, it's June 15th. And first thing I did was I rewired the green wires and got the filament better. And then I removed I removed the transformers first. Then I just started tacking some parts in here. The main ones are in here permanent, but I've been playing around with the cathode resistance. Right now, on the cathode, of the 6SK7. I've got this rheostat for the cathode resistor, and right around 3 milliamps is where I seem to get the max level at the input side. But when I, of course it squares off, it's because I think what's happening is 27K. I need a 470K here and a 470K there and do the same thing on this side. That may solve the problem. I'm going to try that next and see if that goes away, because that's the problem. I'm getting about 330 some volts peak to peak. It's a little low and I need it higher. I mean on the output on this side, it's not doing the whole thing, because this scope is not, I don't think the calibration with this ×10 probe over here is doing good. Right now I've got 101 probes over here, 2 kV probes. I bought one to start with, if you remember, that I went ahead and I wanted to make sure it would work, and now I bought another one, so I'll get a couple more for this scope over here. But that's kind of what's going on, is that this is why I wanted to use the transformers, because remember, when I turned up the input level, peak to peak on top, each side, a positive side and the negative side was equal. That's the beauty of using transformers. When you do this, you run into this kind of a problem. So I'm going to make this 27K at 470 on both sides and see if that solves the problem. And I'll do another update here in a few more days after I figure this out. It could be tomorrow, you never know, but give me some more time. And one thing I did too was I put a metal 6N7 tube in there. So now I've got metal all the way across except for the 6AS7. So I think I like that better. And by the way, that the 120 hertz is gone. I mean, I can turn the generator off and just turn the audio, even with the audio gain all the way up, and the output's completely clean on this thing now. That hum or that interference is gone, and it was getting in through the transformers. And I did unbolt both of them, and I pulled them away a little bit, and when I got this big one away from this tube, probably the filament, it got a little bit better, but it was still there, and I pulled them way far away, and it was still doing it. It might be because those things don't have a DC gap. And what I was thinking too was, my first thought is that maybe it's because of because when you RC couple, you have all these higher resistances and everything, right? You've got several Ks at least, or at least 1K at a minimum. Well, with the transformers, you only have like each of the windings are like what, maybe 100 ohms at the most, maybe 200. Maybe 100 on each side of a push-pull transformer at the most. Well, that's, if it's getting in from the center tap on the ground, because what I did was I took my ×10 probe and I put the ×1 and just touched the chassis, and I could see it, and that's where it was coming from. And when I'd unhook this ground, it would disappear off the center tap of the transformers on both of them. So it was getting in on those transformers. The downside is now I have to work on this to get the gain back up all the way, and I may wind up, before it's over, I may have to put these, tie this over to this side. Over to over this side to get the voltage on this tube up to 350, to get that voltage swing back up to where I had the transformer. That's the downside. It may be a little less because these 100K resistors, that's the thing. So I may have to actually run the voltage up on this. I may, or just, put this resistor on this side and maybe add another one, the smaller one for this. But, maybe running both this tube and this tube at 350 volts will work great anyway. Who knows, maybe that would solve the problem, but I'm gonna wait to see. I don't wanna have to do that unless I have to. So that's all for now. Let me go ahead and plug away at this and see if changing those resistors are going to fix it. Plus I got a 2.2 mic coming. I may not need it now. If I have a 470, that won't have to be a large cap. I could go to like maybe a 0.1 or something. Even a 0.01 might work fine if I do it the other way. So it may be better if I don't do that. I may have to just put a 0.01 in there. If I put a 470, it might be what I need to do, I'm going to have to think about that a little bit. I'll have to calculate the roll-offs. I already know kind of just by thinking about it from memory what they would be, but I need to calculate it to get it exact. So that's all for now. 73. This is about almost a 10-minute video. Till the next time, we say goodbye.